We've always been told a simple story, a promise whispered from one generation to the next. Go to school, get good grades, find a stable job, work hard, and you'll be set for life. It was the blueprint for a good life, a secure future. For decades, millions of people followed this path with unwavering faith. They poured their hearts and souls into their careers, believing that loyalty and dedication would be rewarded. They were the backbone of the economy, the steady hands that built the world we live in. Think of the factory worker who spent 30 years on the same assembly line, his movements becoming a form of muscle memory. He knew every bolt, every gear, every hum of the machinery. He wasn't just earning a paycheck. He was building cars, building a life for his family, building a piece of the American dream. He trusted the company, the pension plan, the unspoken contract that his years of service would guarantee a comfortable retirement. Or consider the office administrator who started as a secretary right out of high school. She watched the company grow, adapted to new technologies from typewriters to computers, and became the institutional memory of her department. She knew everyone's name, their kids' names, their coffee orders. She was more than an employee. She was the heart of the office. She believed in the system, in climbing the ladder one steady rung at a time. These weren't just jobs, they were identities. People didn't just work for a company, they belonged to it. They wore the company logo with pride, attended the annual picnics, and celebrated milestones with their work families. The system was predictable, and in its predictability, there was comfort. It was a world where a gold watch after 40 years wasn't just a gift. It was a symbol of a life well lived, a promise fulfilled. But then, the world began to change, slowly at first, and then all at once. The hum of the factory floor was replaced by the silence of automation. The familiar clatter of the office gave way to the quiet clicks of remote work and global outsourcing. The words downsizing, restructuring, and synergy entered the lexicon. Often as a prelude to a pink slip, the promises started to feel hollow. The pension plans that were once rock solid began to crumble. The concept of a job for life became a relic of a bygone era. Suddenly, the blueprint was obsolete. The path that had been so clearly marked was now a dead end. For the factory worker, the news came in a town hall meeting. The plant was closing, moving operations overseas where labor was cheaper. 30 years of loyalty evaporated in a single announcement. His skills, so valuable just yesterday, were now deemed irrelevant. He was in his 50s, with a mortgage to pay and kids in college. The system he had trusted his entire adult life had just told him he was disposable. The question wasn't just what do I do now, but who am I now? The office administrator found her role consolidated, her duties absorbed by a younger employee in another city, someone she had never met. The personal touches, the human connection she provided, couldn't be quantified on a spreadsheet. Her decades of experience were reduced to a line item on a budget, an expense to be cut. She walked out of the building for the last time with a box of personal belongings, feeling like a stranger in a place she once called home. This wasn't just a handful of isolated stories. It was a seismic shift, a quiet crisis playing out in homes across the country. Millions found themselves in the same bewildering position, standing on the wreckage of a broken promise, forced to navigate a new and unforgiving landscape. The initial shock was often followed by a period of grief and disorientation. They had played by the rules, only to find the game had changed without warning. There was a sense of betrayal, not just by a company, but by the entire system they were raised to believe in. How do you start over when you thought you were nearing the finish line? How do you reinvent yourself when your identity was so deeply intertwined with a job that no longer exists? But here is where the story takes an unexpected turn. Because in the face of this profound disruption, something remarkable began to happen. After the dust settled, after the anger and the fear began to subside, a quiet resilience emerged. Human beings are, above all, adaptable. When the old path disappears, we have an incredible capacity to forge new ones. The former factory worker, after months of uncertainty, enrolled in a local community college. He learned computer-aided design, a skill he never imagined he'd need. It was daunting. He was the oldest student in his class, studying alongside kids the same age as his own children. There were moments of doubt, nights spent wondering if he could really learn this new language of technology. But he persisted. He discovered a new kind of satisfaction in creating something not with his hands, but with his mind. He eventually found a job at a smaller, local manufacturing firm, designing custom parts. It wasn't the same, but it was a new beginning. He wasn't just a worker anymore. He was a creator, a problem solver. The administrator, with her deep well of organizational skills and her innate ability to connect with people, decided to start her own business. She became a virtual assistant for several small businesses that couldn't afford a full-time employee. She set her own hours, chose her own clients, and was once again the indispensable heart of an operate. Or rather, several operations. She found that the very skills the large corporation had deemed obsolete were incredibly valuable in this new economy. She had more control, more freedom, and a renewed sense of purpose. She wasn't just an employee. She was an entrepreneur. These are not stories of overnight success. The path of adaptation is rarely smooth. It's a journey filled with trial and error, with small victories and frustrating setbacks. It requires swallowing your pride, asking for help, and being willing to look foolish as you learn something new. It means letting go of a life you thought you were supposed to have and embracing the life that is actually in front of you. Across the country, we see these stories of reinvention everywhere. The laid-off journalist who starts a hyperlocal news podcast. The former corporate lawyer who finds fulfillment opening a small-town bakery. The retail manager who becomes a certified yoga instructor. They are all pioneers of a new reality, discovering that security doesn't come from a company or a system, but from within. It comes from having a diverse set of skills, from building a strong community, and from cultivating a mindset of lifelong learning. The old promise may be broken, but a new one is being written. It's a promise that is less about stability and more about agility. It's less about loyalty to an institution and more about being true to your own potential. It recognizes that a career is no longer a linear path, but a winding journey with multiple chapters. This shift isn't without its challenges. It places a greater burden on the individual to be constantly learning, networking, and marketing themselves. The safety nets we once took for granted are frayed, but it also opens up a world of possibilities that didn't exist before. It gives us permission to have a second act, or a third, or even a fourth. It allows us to redefine success on our own terms, to pursue passions that might have been pushed aside in the name of a sensible career. The experiences of this generation serve as a crucial lesson for us all. They are a reminder that the only constant is change. The world will continue to evolve, industries will continue to be disrupted, and the skills that are in demand today may not be tomorrow. Trusting the system is no longer enough. We must learn to trust ourselves, our ability to learn, our capacity to adapt, and our resilience in the face of uncertainty. Their story is not one of tragedy, but of transformation. It's a testament to the enduring strength of the human spirit. They are the generation that was forced to adapt, and in doing so, they showed us what it truly means to be resilient. They are rewriting the blueprint, not with ink on paper, but with the courage and creativity of their own lives. And for that, their story is one that deserves to be told, to be understood, and to be honored. Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, consider subscribing for more content like this.